The city is still trying to calibrate what the impact will be and how we might adjust.
New tonight, Eugene Mayor Lucy Vinis reacting to the closure of the city's only hospital, saying she found out a week before the public announcement.
Now, the mayor saying she objects to the short notice and says it was handled poorly by Peace Health due to the timing of the announcement when the Eugene City Council was not in session. Now, Mayor Vinis believes this will harm people who need immediate care and worries about the time it will take first responders to transport people from the southwest side of the river to Riverbend Hospital.
In a public statement, the mayor said she's calling on the Oregon Health Authority to recognize these implications. She hopes OHA denies the hospital closure or imposes conditions.
I guess what I would hope is that either that there would be a requirement that they keep the emergency department open, whether or not it contributes to beds. If someone needs a bed, they get transferred to Riverbend, but the emergency department needs to stay open.
Now, she told us she had not yet spoken with OHA. The mayor also said she hasn't been involved in any new emergency preparedness plans. Mayor Vinis says the city has no timeline for preparing a new emergency management plan and claims that as the mayor, she's not responsible for emergency operations. Eugene's emergency manager is new and was not prepared to comment on the hospital's closure today and if or how the city's emergency medical plans may have shifted.
Now, the Oregon Health Authority said they require official notification of any closures. They say they have not yet received any notifications of a planned complete closure. But the hospital's closure itself does not need OHA approval. OHA went on to say Peace Health's announcement indicates that they are contemplating changes in service like relocation. Each change would have a separate process with OHA's health facility licensing and certification program. The program has not yet received a request from Peace Health for approval of any changes to its state license.
And a lot has been discussed regarding the impact of closing the University District's emergency department, but there's another service offered at that hospital that's at stake.
For many stroke patients or those suffering dizziness or spinal cord injuries, multiple sclerosis or Parkinson's disease, there is no more important service than the University District's outpatient rehabilitation clinic. I looked into what makes the service so unique in our community. Don Douglas worked for the Neuro Clinic for decades before retiring in 2021 after a 35-year career.
We kind of intermingle to give people that are in our clinic, the biggest scope of treatment that we can.
Like speech, physical and occupational therapy, they do wheelchair assessments and home evaluations. They basically help people with often devastating diseases live their lives as independently as possible.
Somebody that goes from where they can't even transfer out of a chair and gets to the point where they're walking independently and doing independent stuff at home, it's a life changer for them. And if they didn't have our clinic to go to, they wouldn't get the progress that they get.
And that's the concern. Right now, the staff currently working at the clinic was told by Peace Health Administration a decision will be made regarding its future soon. We requested an interview with the person leading that process. We were instead given a statement from Peace Health, which said, Peace Health values both its inpatient and outpatient rehabilitation programs and is exploring options to maintain and relocate those services after the closure of the University District Hospital. For Libby Kennard, who works specifically with Parkinson's patients, losing the outpatient clinic would be devastating.
They're like the mainstay for referrals for those therapies in our community because that team has been together for a really long time, and they have specialized expertise for Parkinson's.
No one else in this area does what they do.
The impact to our community would be huge because while there are some other excellent therapists who have Parkinson's experience in our community, there isn't anything that's like this clinic where this team works together.
I would say that for a lot of our patients that we see, they will not get treatment.
Rather than seeking similar services in Portland or Medford, many patients will just opt to do without the help, making life more difficult and possibly more painful.
I think that it would almost be going against, the Peace Health's commitment to serving the community to close this clinic.
The current staff was told they could receive a decision about the clinic's future by the end of this week. Now, closing the clinic would also seemingly include laying off about a dozen of the most experienced therapists in our area. I spoke with one therapist currently working at the clinic who asked to remain anonymous because they're currently employed there. They told me the staff will be fine. They'll find jobs. It's the patients who may have no other options. That's who they're most worried about.
Absolutely. And also with this pending closure, it poses the question as to how other area hospitals are able to keep up with the influx of patients. KVAL's Angela Yamamoto spoke with McKenzie Willamette Medical Center.
In the wake of Eugene's University District Hospital closure announcement, many have speculated that this change will affect surrounding hospitals. According to McKenzie Willamette's Emergency Services Director, Vicki Martin, the hospital has already been seeing an influx of patients.
This year, our volume really has increased, so we are seeing an increase in wait times. They are not as long as sometimes people expect they are. We have a lot of innovations that we're using to try to shorten that wait time and get patients seen quicker.
One of those innovations include McKenzie Willamette's new online portal for emergency services. When logging on to McKenzie Willamette's homepage, you'll be able to see their current wait time in their emergency room. Looking now, we can see it's at 21 minutes. After filling out your patient information, you'll be directed to a confirmation page detailing your appointment.
We want to balance the load of high acuity patients, so patients that can be seen within 4 hours. And so by using the online portal, we're able to balance that load and able to get patients in more efficiently.
It's important to remember that the online portal is suggested for patients with lower acuity, as high acuity patients are the hospital's first priority. In some instances, the hospital may need to transfer patients.
Neurosurgical capability, then we would transfer them to a higher level of care. A burn would transfer to a higher level of care. A pediatric critical care patient would transfer to a higher level of care, and that can either be another hospital in our region or that can be in another state. It just depends on what service they need.
McKenzie Willamette says despite the UD closure, they feel confident in taking on the influx of patients.
We feel that we can comfortably take on an increased volume of patients at this time, and we hope that our partners are able to move some of their staff and patients over to their other facility.
I'm Angela Yamamoto reporting.
Now, McKenzie Willamette triages their patients based on 5 levels. That's emergent, urgent, regular patient, non-acute, or routine. It lets staff understand what resources they need to provide and when to have that patient come back. The hospital says all patients with a higher acuity are seen first.